So right now the Game Developers Conference is happening from March 17th till 21st. And I noticed a video in my feed this morning. The Unity CEO has a Q&A hosted by, I won't try to pronounce his name, but basically a Q&A. So I was thinking, okay, what could he he will probably talk about Godot and Unreal and such. I look for the shortcuts. Godot. Why should a developer choose Unity over Godot or Unreal? Yeah, let's listen.
It doesn't cost anything to pick up the tool. And by the way, I would encourage people to just compare tools. You know, not every tool is right for everything, right? So the first thing people should just make up their own mind. And the reason I feel confident about giving that advice is I think that for most games and most interactive applications, Unity is going to be the best tool. As I said, it's the most open tool. It's the most flexible tool.
The most open and the most flexible tool. The most open and the most flexible tool. So this guy probably never heard of open source game engines or open source frameworks. So yeah, I don't know what kind of things he's taking, but here is a list, by example, of all the open source game engines. And because it's open source, it's also easier to change the code, so it's also a lot more flexible. Yeah, that's basically open source. So what language do you want to choose? There's so many things. There's also Godot, something that this channel is kind of about. So let's try to see. Can we find Unity in this list? No. His claims of Unity being the most open and the most flexible, that holds, like, if Unity is kind of open in terms of like their assets and making people able to build their own tools and such, that's understandable. But to call it the most open and the most flexible, that's just wrong. That's just false information. And his entire talk feels like somebody who's starting to learn sales for some reason. Like, he sounds just like a bad salesman. And then there's also the whole financial aspect. Let's listen again.
Got another couple more questions before I let you go. Developers depend on Unity and build whole businesses on the engine. So obviously the stability of the company is very important. We're talking about financial stability. You mentioned company profitability earlier, but how are you thinking about ensuring the company's financial health in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about before, the company is really super solid. So I just again, I know there's this narrative about that. Folks don't need to worry about that, right?
Folks don't need to worry about what? About the new wave of layoffs? 25% revenue drop in Q4. Layoffs and 5 a.m. emails. Yeah, this whole talk basically felt like baked air. I tried to watch everything, but I had to keep skipping past because it was just a little bit too difficult to watch. But even though he lies about a lot of things like this...
By the way, I would encourage people to just compare tools. You know,
compare tools, but our game engine is better.
Not every tool is right for everything, right? So the first thing people should just make up their own mind. And the reason I feel confident about giving that advice is I think that for most games and most interactive applications, Unity is going to be the best tool. As I said, it's the most open tool. It's the most flexible tool.
If he would not have said that, I would not have had the urge to make this video, because this feels very much, lying to your user base, lying to your community. And somehow he says that you should try out different engines, but in the end you'll turn back to Unity anyway because it's better. What Unity has going for it is there's a giant amount of tutorials. That's a very big thing. A large amount of game assets are mainly made for Unity users. And then you have the fact of just being able to more easily export to consoles and such, something that's just not really possible. Well, it is possible with Godot, but not unless you pay fees to a W4 or other companies which will merge, export your game to those platforms. So I'm not saying that Unity is a bad engine. I'm just saying that he should be realistic and not lie to his customers or community. Let's call it community. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me for this little video. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.